Hello everyone, welcome back to a new best of 5 cast. Today we're gonna be having a look at a best of 5 played between, in the bottom right, spawning as the blue Terran player, playing for, I don't actually know what team, but it is going to be Innovation. And in the bottom left, spawning as the red Zerg player, playing for Team Shopify's Rebellion. It's a team I do know. It's going to be Scarlett. It's a best of 5 recently played in the DreamHack seasonal finals. Scarlett opening up with a hatch first. Good old Scarlett. Made it to the round of 8, where she had to play Innovation, and that is this best of 5. Innovation hasn't been in the greatest shape lately. He hasn't been performing as good as we kind of expect out of Innovation. However, in this tournament, he did advance in first place with a 4-0 score. So that is pretty impressive and that is pretty nice. For him. For Scarlett, she also managed to advance out of her group. A couple of nice games. So she seems to be at the peak of what she is currently capable of. Now the question is her peak good enough against Innovation at his current level? Innovation has always been known as the guy to kind of just kill foreign Zergs by just simply being slightly better, slightly faster. Just a solid macro, good mid-game pushes. If you think of Innovation, he's not the guy that is the greatest late game, doesn't have the greatest ghost control, he doesn't have the tightest early game build orders or the sickest early game pushes, but he has an extremely strong mid game with good rotational play, good multitasking, and good micro as well. Nothing of it is perfect. For whatever reason, Innovation doesn't strike me as the guy where people think of him as the most exciting player, but he's just so dang solid and he's so consistent in his level of play, not only across series but also usually across a couple of days or weeks or months. He seems to be relatively consistent in his level. There's no huge peaks in his play all of a sudden. He either is doing well or is doing poor, and he's gonna stick with that. And it seems like right now he's doing pretty well, at least the last week and a half or so. And before that, it had a slightly less good period. We see him opening up with the Innovation standard, which of course the triple CC from a single gas. He swaps the factory and the barracks. So a couple of options you have here as a Terran player. You can delay your starport for faster Hellions, or you can get your starport immediately for a faster starport, but then you delay your Hellions a bit. I think I just said the same thing twice, but we'll pretend like that was something different. What I meant to say was that you can either delay the starport and fast Hellions, or you can delay the Hellions and fast starport. That is just the main thing. It's really no, rocket science or heart surgery or whatever it is that people say in these cases. Look at this. Second gas going down here for Innovation. It's going to be playing a pretty standard game here. Yep, Viking into Tech Lab. I think if you would show would watch an Innovation game from a year ago, he's probably playing the exact same build. He loves this Viking build with the triple CC, going hunting for overlords, getting that fast Tech Lab as well. Now, there's a couple of extra options here for Innovation as well. He can then decide to follow this up with a Liberator, or he can decide to not get a Liberator and instead stay on 6 Hellions and add 2 barracks. We'll see what he decides to do. It's going to be a medevac. Okay, that's cool. That's actually a really cool build. I do like this build. So the entire point of this build, first of all, this build is not very uncommon, but it's a relatively uncommon build. Oh, Scarlett going for the play, going for the surround. He's actually going to get the 2 Hellions and the Reaper here. Good pickup there. Good pickup. And this is going to allow Scarlett to potentially set up run-bys with links, force Innovation to perhaps stay home with a bit more Hellions than he ideally wanted. What I was gonna say is that this Viking is doing a very obviously a good job of denying vision on the bottom side of the map. Oh, here comes Scarlett with that run by. Look at that, 2 Hellions are at home. Many a Zerg here would have returned away or gone away with the Zergling. Scarlett instead decides, hey, I can split these bad boys up. I can go into your main base. She's gonna try to take out a couple of workers here. Hellions are about to hit the main base of Scarlett. There's no real links in position there. Queens are massively out of position as well. 5 at the front, 1 in the main. Here come the cars. Oh, Sport does not quite block. This Hellion's gonna get surrounded by these drones. Not that many drones have gone down here yet. Decent splits coming out of Scarlet. 6 workers, 7 workers have gone down. And these scars will end up falling. Lynx meanwhile killed 5 workers on the other side as well. I'm actually kind of liking the position here for the Canadian Zerg. As Scarlet is in a slight worker lead. Innovation doesn't really seem to have too many units. Look at that. It's marine count of 3. Let's have 3 wrecks here. It's getting a reactor right now on the starport. Double eBay going down as well. But once this gold base finishes up, Scarlet should be capable of getting a very nice income. These rocks are going to be important for her to take down as well. And don't forget that whenever you take this gold base, there's always the possibility of a drop behind it. So you need a lot of links ready. Oh, that's interesting. That is very interesting here. As we see a Roche Warren coming out of Scarlet. And a single drop of Innovation is heading into the main base. I wonder what his second drop is going to do. Not much of anything. I guess this was the drop that put in the Hellions, right? Managed to save that medevac. Now Spore moving towards the right side. We'll be able to see, hey, there's a medevac coming there. Let's see what the response out of Scarlet is. Well, so far, not much of anything. Pretty slow response actually out of the Canadian Zerg. And this marine drop could start doing a little bit of damage here. Okay, here come the Lynx running back with their little wings. One queen is going to go down, gets targeted, boosts out, and Innovation is going to be pretty happy with that. Loses a marine for a queen. That is a 3-to-1 trade. Marine is 50 and a queen is 150. What is this, an Ultralis? Sketch is going to be stuck in here. Maybe this is a gym. He doesn't look too happy to be in the gym. But to be fair, I also go to the gym. Most people at my gym also don't look happy to be here. It's like a cable machine. Could also just... I'm not sure if he's captured or if it's a cable machine. Please tell me what you think it is. I think this might just be... Look, it even is giving in a bit. I think this definitely is a cable machine. This is like some futuristic fitness equipment. Like it slightly pushes out. Yeah, 100%. No shot. Here I was thinking that they had these poor Ultralisks locked up, but he's probably paying a fee to be here as well, you know? Chips are so expensive, it's insane. Paying like 50 euros a month just to sweat a little bit. Piss off me. Alright. I'm not quite sure if Innovation is aware of the roaches. I mean, he's gonna be aware of the roaches right about now. We still see he was building some mines from a tech lab. Yeah, immediately switches to tanks. This is the first time he actually realized it was roaches. And Scarlet is already at 110 army supply. She has 1-1 upgrades. Her 2-2 started. She has a crap ton of workers. Her income is freaking insane. She's mining almost 1k more than her opponent. Scarlet is bathing in the money. Like the money tree was built in her backyard. And Innovation is trying to steal dollar bills from that money tree. And it's not really working out. No real damage has... Oh my god, is that 11 Ravagers? Yes, that is 11 Ravagers. I am capable of reading the production tab. There's only 3 tanks here. Depots are being built. SCV's being pulled off the line as well. 1-1 is here on the Marines. No Ravager biles hitting the tanks as of yet. Bunch of SCVs are going down, however. Depots are kind of being some type of distraction. Biles raining down on top of the tanks. I'm not quite sure if this is going to be enough though. No, Scarlet gets pushed back. But not before she kills 19 workers. I love this depot wall. Like separating the 4th base from the 3rd. Like, you guys have your own defense with the planetary, but this base doesn't. A very interesting wall, actually. I wouldn't have minded if it was here. Slightly further. Up top already. But then I guess once you get your 5th base, it looks silly. So no matter what happens, it's gonna look a little bit silly. We have a single drop heading out towards the top side. This is kind of what I thought Innovation wants to do and should be doing, and what he is doing, and that's trying to harass that gold base, because the gold base just supplies so much mineral income here for Scarlet. She's on 8 gas currently. She's gonna go up to 10 gas, heading straight into the lurkers as well. 8 Marines are heading towards this gold base. What's in position? The answer is, well, I think plenty here. There's a bunch of queens. Can we see a couple of transfuses? Yep, one transfuse goes down. This medevac is running very, very low, but Innovation will be able to pick up. Ooh, tank slightly too far forward is going to get taken out here as well. Now we have a triple or 2.5 drop heading towards the bottom side. Same time, we have these roaches trying to deny the mining of Innovation's gold base, and I really do like this. I wouldn't mind seeing Burrow or even Glial reconstitution in this type of scenario. Really cool to have, and you really see some potential damage there. I mean, plenty of money in the bank here for Scarlett, who is absolutely saving for the next housing crisis. 2k in the bank. Ooh, a lot of gas just got spent there. 3 upgrades, 3 Vipers going down as well. Do we have any of the lurker upgrades? No, not yet. Seismic spines nor adaptive talents is being researched at this point. 85 workers on the side of Scarlett as well. So she's feeling very, very strong in this game when it comes to her income, her tech. Just everything is looking super healthy on her side. What is our barrack count? We don't even have barracks 6, 7 and 8 yet, which is just slightly pathetic here for Innovation. Can't afford to get these extra barracks. It's just pumping units out of 8 production structures. Of course, we have 5 barracks, 2 factories and a single starport. Once again, single drop is moving out. 10 hydras on the way. Seismic spines is being researched. Adaptive talents already queued up. You know, if you're queuing up upgrades that you're rich. Because usually you shouldn't be able to afford this. Creep spread by Scarlett is looking extremely good here. Once again as well. I'm a big fan of this. Scarlett is heading into lurkers. This position is so freaking difficult to hold as well. As Innovation. You need like, 4 tanks behind here. And even then, I mean, if there's an army here and a couple of Vipers, these tanks could just die. I love that biling on the sensor tower. That is such a bad position for the sensor tower, but also such a good position. Like, you really do need it. But also it makes it so easy to bile down. Here we have a pickup. Quick pick up. Does manage to escape. Main base is, of course, spammed with spores. So I don't think Scarlett will be able to do anything there. 10 lurkers on the way. And these Vipers are about to join in as well. And here come the pools. This is what I was talking about. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And that is, oh my god, even throws down the blinding cloud. So these tanks won't be able to do anything. Beautiful abducts. 3 more get abducted. That is 6 tanks going down in a matter of seconds. 2 more lurkers do run forward in tank range. But no scan seems to be available. Vipers go home to get more energy. I think Scarlett is just winning this game. She is looking mighty fine here. Innovation not even close to being maxed at this point. 30 supply away, is trying to push in right now. It's actually doing a pretty good job, even though this is pure Marine Marauder. I think Scarlett, you can just burrow and fight this. This isn't that strong of an army, and especially once your 3-3 finishes up, you should just be capable of destroying this. Couple of parasitic bombs perhaps on these medevacs. Yep, there we go. I see one fly in. Not the fastest splits out of Innovation, but a split eventually. Loses a bunch of his ground units as well during all of this. And his income just doesn't seem good enough. His production doesn't seem good enough. He's still on... Well, actually, he's up to 8 barracks right now. He has a Ghost Academy. Thought he was still on 5. But this is 8 barracks. That's a lot better. His production is looking healthier, but... the bank of Scarlett is looking extremely healthy. She's been saving for her pension. And she has one hell of a pension plan, I can tell you that. There's a lot of money in the bank here. More abducts every single time. These Vipers want something, they get it. They just grab it. It's like an angry, spoiled 6-year-old in your average toy store. Mommy, I want that. And boom! The Viper abducts it. Just like that. Without really paying anything but energy. 12 workers going down. We have a counter-attack. Bile hitting one of them Marauders as well. We see Scarlett scrambling to get a defense up, but I don't think she even wouldn't mind it if she lost this base. She's playing 12 gas, by the way. Holy crap, that's big gas income. 2k gas a minute here. No wonder she's floating so much gas as well. Usually Zergs always struggle with the gas, but Scarlett absolutely isn't. I'm loving that gas saturation out of here. Single lurker harass. 14 more lurkers on the way. She can afford it and she will afford it. Four more Vipers. 4 Vipers once again with energy. I wish you could see the abduct count. I mean, there's a kill count because of parasitic bomb, but so far the amount of abducts has been absolutely... I think they have probably over like 12 or 13 assists on these tanks. Oh, a couple of ghosts trying to snipe the Vipers. two Vipers will go down, but so do all of the tanks. Right now 2 tanks remaining against 16 lurkers. I think Scarlett can just run in, and you know what? I think Scarlett is just going to do that. Lurkers not quite taking the pathing that they needed to. 14 lurkers, however, pushing for it, and there's just nothing here for Innovation. He seems to still have a big army. I mean, he has 160 supply, but I just can't see where it is. Where is his army? I don't see it here, I don't see it here. He calls GG. Yeah, Scarlett takes game number 1 here in a very decisive fashion, I have to say. We'll be heading straight into game number 2. Game number 2 is going to be played on Oxide, a more Terran favorite. Oh, actually, Blackburn tends to be one of the most Terran favored maps, according to Zerg. But then when I talk to Terrans, they don't even really like Blackburn as much. Oxide, however, is pretty favored for Terran. I have to admit that. It's a good map for Terrans. A couple of reasons for that. First of all, it's there's some nice positions that Terran can take. You know, these rocks can be relatively annoying. The early game isn't that great for Terran. Hellion rotations are difficult. But then when you get to the longer stage of the game, Zerg really only has access to 6 bases, which means every Zerg is on a massive timer on this map. It's just really difficult. There's no base you can take of your opponent. This is perhaps the only base you can take, but if Terran takes a 4th base over here, it's like a rock, a throw of a rock away. I'm not sure if you can say that in English, but I just did. Oh, there you go. The throw of a rock away from your 4th base. Terran technically can take this as a 3rd as well. You see Scarlett taking the forward base here, going for that triangle setup. A lot of Zergs have been preferring that triangle setup over the line setup. Why that is, I do not quite know. I could pretend to make up some reasons, but I just don't know them. So instead, I'll just say that I don't know, and perhaps during the game we can kind of figure out what it is. Perhaps not wanting to deal with this type of low ground aggression from like tanks over here or tanks over here. Kind of taking this as a natural 4th base. Does seem like a nice thing, because this can be a tricky 4th base, right? If you don't have creep out there yet, tank positions over here near the rocks, kind of do like this. This is a 3rd base, and then this is a 4th on the left side. Then eventually you can take the 5th over here. Perhaps not the worst thing. Here once again we go Innovation with the Innovation standard. At this point, right? Command center in the main base. Starport is going up as well. We have these barracks building a tech lab. Now, a couple of things we can see. Once again, we can see that quick stim, or we'll be seeing something like a Banshee. Triple CC Banshee play is still viable. We still see it at the highest level. We're just not seeing it as much out of Innovation. Oh, but here we go. Potentially still a Raven, by the way. Innovation has been liking his Ravens in the... What? Okay, he's gonna just go for Viking. Tech lab right next to it. I'm very surprised here. This kind of feels like a fake for an Overlord, but then the Viking finishes anyway, so the Overlord will see it. I don't quite understand what this is. Maybe it's Viking into Banshee, or Viking into single Banshee. Okay, yeah, here we go. This is a build we actually have been seeing become a little bit more popular. I don't understand why, but we have been seeing it become more popular. We can actually figure out the... Ooh, that was some nasty pathing there from Innovation. Not quite what he wanted. So, the Viking will once again do the work on the Overlord. So basically saying, hey, I'm playing Viking, and it's most likely going to be Viking Medevac or Viking Liberator. Now, against neither of those things, Zerg necessarily wants spores. Maybe against the Liberator you want a spore. Wouldn't be too bad. So Zerg tends to skip spores and instead rely on queens. Then afterwards you fly in with a single Banshee without cloak, which is a minor investment, and there won't be any spores there. So you basically try to force your opponent's Overlords back, which is exactly what's happening here. Look at that. Viking is going to move here as well. Then the Banshee goes there and will attack the weakest base. It's going to be a... Also provide some safety, of course, against roaches. If you can keep it alive later on, that will be helpful. We actually do see 3 spores coming down here for Scarlett, though. So she's not having any of it. And she says, hey, I'm aware of your Viking Banshee shenanigans. Or perhaps just in case of... let's see what it... No, this is a Banshee spore. Liberator spores are often over here. Over here. Over here. over here, but very, not very often in the mineral line, I have to admit. Alright. Gonna be going up to 5 gas, or 5 barracks here. Not 5 gas, well, we're still on 4 gas. So innovation is... Try to do some damage here with this Banshee, I missed that, but probably just flew straight into a Spore and a Queen. See a single drone with a little bit of damage, and I bet the Banshee had something to do with it. Here comes the Banshee once again. It's going to be able to pick off one... Well, literally just a single worker for now. So yeah, not a great start here for innovation. Scarlett's worker count, however, not the highest. So I think Inno did a good enough job so far. He hasn't lost much of anything. Actually, he hasn't lost anything yet. Right now he's going to try to clear a little bit of creep. Yep, Scarlett trying to spread it just as he arrives. 4th base being taken. Oh, actually, 4th base already done. 5th base being taken here. Creep spread is looking very healthy. Just marvelous creep spread. Rock gets taken out as well. I wouldn't mind these rocks going down, but not that important as the creep is so far forward. It's not like innovation can just walk on there immediately. 6:48 is the time, and we're off to the races as innovation decides to lift over the rocks and start clearing the creep here. 5 tumors get taken out. No more active tumors on this side of the map right now. I think there's one more perhaps on the left side. Yep. Lynx trying to catch these Marines. Usually that's a trait you can't really take, but with this amount of Lynx perhaps it is going to be possible. Here comes Scarlett for more damage, but the Hellions swoop in. 2 Hellions once again mispathed. This is the 3rd time this series already where something with the pathing goes wrong for innovation, and he loses a couple of units because of it. We see the low worker count for Scarlett though, 75, going up to 83 right now, or 82. Should be going up to 8 gas as well, because she wants to be getting these muralisks. We have a 4cc on the way for innovation, who is now splitting up his Hellions away from his main army. And Scarlett says, well, if your Hellions are away from your main army, I'm just gonna kill them. Sends forward a bunch of Lynx. Banelings probably defending the other side. No, there's actually no Banelings whatsoever here. Is there even... Okay, there's 11 Banelings on the map, and they're kind of trailing behind. These Lynx moving forward will chase this army away. We have our first Mutas on the way? No. We do have 800 gas in the bank. We have a bunch of minerals as well. 6 Mutas on the way now. 4 more Overlords about to finish as well. And Scarlett is actually looking to stabilize on a pretty decent drone count here. Problem for her is that it's just a very low gas count so far. She was kind of late with taking gases 7 and 8. She's pretty late with taking gases 9 and 10 as well. So I'm not the biggest fan of Scarlett's play so far. Infestation pit is going down. I love seeing Scarlett play with the mass muta, but for now she seems very content with just playing these low muta counts and then very heavy on the Link Bane, quick tech into Hive. And these are of course different schools of thought. A lot of the Koreans prefer these heavy muta counts, thinking 16, 17, and then eventually going up to like 25, 26 mutalisks with +2, sniping turrets, sniping marines, sniping marauder, sniping anything that comes in your way. But here Scarlett is more using the mutalisk as a tool to control the pace of the game, and then with Ling Bane try to make the plays. And she's actually making some big plays here with the Ling Bane. She has 97 workers. This is the type of engagement you want. She's gonna be able to get the planetary, which is huge. She's losing a lot of mutalisks for her though. She lost a lot of Banelings. That was a trade that was absolutely cost inefficient, but it was momentum efficient. This was very, very good for Scarlett in that her income is so much higher than Innovation's currently. Innovation did not have a backup command center. Innovation is being massively outmined. If Scarlett can force 1 or 2 more trades like this in the next 3 minutes, Innovation is going to be completely broke. There's no splasher whatsoever. There's no mines. There is a single Thor finally out, and we see more Banelings being morphed in. 27 are done already, 16 more on the way, and Scarlett goes for round number 2. Needs to be careful with these mutalisks. Needs to be very careful with these mutalisks. This is such a high Baneling count, and without any mines around, I don't quite see how Innovation is going to try to defend his 4th base. These rocks potentially could be taken out. No. Scarlett says, I don't think I can. And here comes the Banelings. Couple more creep tumors. Half the map covered in creep, by the way. You see the mutas darting forward, trying to take out something. Greater Spire already starting, so Scarlett absolutely not taking her time here to get into those quick transitions. She says, hey, you want to fight? We can fight. You only have a single factory producing Taurs. What other anti-air do you have? And the answer really is none. There's almost, well, I think there's like, what, 40 Marines or so, but 37 Marines, which is some type of anti-air. But if there's still banelings around, that isn't ideal either. And here comes Scarlett once again. 88 workers at this. Oh, big mine hit there on a lot of these banelings. And this is why, personally, I tend to dislike this strategy a bit more, is that this type of move is just a lot stronger if you have 28 Mutalisks, right? And at this point, these 9 Mutas can actually just be out-repaired. Innovation not responding, however, so these Mutas still going to be able to do some damage. Once again, yeah, 9 Mutas is just not enough to fight any amount of Marines that's coming over. Like, it can be 4 Marines with a medevac. You lose 3 Mutas against those. And if you have 28 Mutas, you can just right-click things and they die. And it's not that big of a deal if you lose half a Muta. We have a big Ling Bane count here. We have a lot of workers still. Our first Corruptors being pumped out as well. Scarlett is trying to take out this army. Adrenal Glands finishing up. Good micro there with the links. Good splits. And here goes Scarlett. No. I think she could though. 10 workers have gone down. There's no real defense here on this base. And I think Scarlett just kind of figured it out. It's like, hey, what do you actually have, buddy? I'm really rich. Are you? And I think it would be great if she just morphs another, 20 banelings here and goes for it. And then in her remax, as she's losing this unit, starts building Brood Lords behind this. I really would not mind that whatsoever. Scarlett, however, right now, 6 Mutalisks, 9 Corruptors, which are practically useless for her, the Corruptors at least. Can't really morph them into anything. She's probably looking to lose these Mutas. I don't think she wants to keep them. So she's just gonna go harass with them, see if she can get rid of them in a responsible way. No, maybe she actually does want to use them for harassment. We have our first 3 Broodlords on the way right now. But now she's on the defensive and morphing defensive Broodlords. I much would have preferred if she would have been the one pressing the offense, and then while doing that, getting these extra Broodlords. Right now we have 7 Broodlords on the way, we have more Marauders being morphed. I don't think Innovation is quite aware of what is happening. He's not aware of the Greater Spire, that's for sure. I don't think he's seen any of these Broodlords morphing either. And that could potentially mean, okay, now he sees them, that he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Here come the Broodlords moving in, 2 Thors on the right side. Not quite in position to deal with that. 1 Thor on the left side. Well, all of these Thors got taken out real fast. Broodlord still dealing a lot of damage. There's not enough Banelings though in this army. You have a crap ton of Links coming in. Is there any backup Banelings, or can these Marines just move forward? Here come the Banelings. Innovation is trying to move forward. There's so many freaking medevacs. 12 medevacs with this army. 18 Marines remain as well. There's still a couple of Banes in the back. There's Queens for Transfuse as well, and yep, Scarlett will be able to push this back. 87 workers against 66. The bank is bigger for Scarlett. The Ling reinforcement is huge as well. And do we have any type of transition coming out of Innovation here? The answer is going to be no. We have 2 Vikings being produced. No extra starports are being added yet. Plus 3 vehicle weapons, and we're probably seeing Taurs being pumped. No, it's more and more mines, but I don't think that is going to be good enough for Innovation, as these Corruptors are moving in right now. These Broodlords are pushing forward. Plus 2 flyer attacks finishing up. Scarlett does need to be a little bit careful that she doesn't just lose to these Vikings. And here come the Banelings, making sure that the Marines can't do much either. There's no Overseer with this army, so these mines will stay alive for a little bit longer than they probably should. But I think this is just going to be a quick 2-0 here for Scarlett, who is trying to secure herself a spot in the semifinals of the DreamHack Seasonal Finals. Banelings rolling forward as well. Will be detonating into nothingness and onto the planetary. Big flank coming out of Innovation, but these mines will not be good enough. They'll take out a lot of the Broodlings, but the Marines will never be able to get under these Broodlords. Corruptors moving forward. GG gets called, and Scarlett takes game number 2 as well here on Oxide. 2 relatively Terran favored map. Both of them so far going in favor of the North American. Game number 3 is going to be played here on Lightshade. Tends to be one of the more Zerg favored map, so kind of thinking back of how the map picks went, I'll guess that Scarlett went for Blackburn, Innovation went for Oxide, and then Scarlett went for Lightshade. What maps does this leave does that leave in the map pool? It's a good question. Innovation probably vetoed Jagannatha. Scarlett probably vetoed Beckett. We'll have 2000 atmospheres and Romanticide remaining, I guess, in that case. Would any of these players change the standard pattern? I don't think so. Technically 2000 atmospheres could be vetoed by Innovation. Could it be? Or is it good for Terran? I'm not even sure what 2000 atmospheres is. It feels okay for Terran. Ooh, Scarlett changing it up a little bit here with a pool first. That's cool to see. Rather than sticking with her ever so successful hatchery first, we'll go for that pool first. Innovation so far every single game scouted. And I'd be surprised if he won't scout this game. Innovation is someone that tends to stick with his patterns. Whether they work or not, it doesn't really matter for him. He's gonna keep going at it. And yep, there goes that SCV moving across the map. And this is one hell of an important SCV here. Needs to see what his opponent is doing. And what is his opponent doing? Well, Scarlett is right now building 6 links. We'll try to run these by, maybe even try to force a cancel on that natural as we see these links pop out. The thing here is for Innovation is that Innovation will only see 2 links and might believe because of that there's only 2 links on the map. However, it is going to be 6 links. Scarlett is going to put this Overlord forward and say, hey, I want to know what you're doing. These 2 links are following this SCV very far forward, then move back. This is almost perfectly played by Scarlett bait-wise. Look at that. She tried to bait that Reaper away with these 2 links, then realized it's not coming. Now it's going to move in once again with these 2 links. Yeah, this was just an unsuccessful start here for Scarlett. She wasted a lot of money here. 6 links. That is 3 drones that she could have had faster. That's probably 1 drone that she's never going to get back. Usually you only get 4 links. Reaper is moving out at this point already. And now the links, no, they don't want to go in yet. They're considering going in though, you see that? They want to go in. I think they could have gone in and they probably could have gotten a cancel or at least a temporary denial. Ooh. Single Hellion starting here. So this is something that Scarlett is forcing because Innovation doesn't want to lift right now. He wants the fastest possible Hellions. He wants the fastest possible everything. This is a 2-base variation here. We're playing 2-base StarCraft 2. So even though I said that Innovation likes to stick to his patterns right now, he's actually switching it up. And he's switching it up pretty hard. Innovation still doesn't know if there's 2 links or 4 links or 6 links. Scarlett has been hiding this, like her life depends on it. At least the life of these links depends on it. Because the Reaper gives up his search for the perhaps lone link remaining. Ooh. Here goes the Reaper. Goes down, sees, well, honestly not too much. Never scouted here behind this natural mineral line, for example. We do have a 7 marine drop coming in. This is a build that Beyond was very fond of for a bit. 7 marine drop, 3 cars. You drop the marines and you try to do some damage with the cars at the same time. We'll see if Innovation will be capable of doing anything of the sort. Banshee as a follow-up. Now that is interesting. Scarlett actually is expecting a Hellbat push. That's why she's building the Spine Crawler. Scarlett very low on information as well. Is gonna go in with a Ling run by, which makes a lot of sense. If you believe that it indeed is a Hellbat push. These Hellions are gonna get taken out, but there's nothing in the main base here defending. And there's not even a single queen up here. Right now Scarlett is kind of semi-panicking. She did manage to take out 4 SCVs, so that is a good job. 6 more drones are on the way for her as well. And here come the queens. We'll be able to help out against this drop. We'll be able to even push it back. Fantastic defense out of Scarlett. 75 supply against 61. I am worried though about these Banshees. What can these Banshees do? What can these Banshees... How will they perform? How quick will they be able to rack up the kills? Right now we have no spores on the way. We have this marine drop still going pretty ham. Once again, the medevac is running low. Scarlett is moving forward with a queen. Tries to get a couple of more pot shots in from a long distance. She is getting it. What is the queen count. The queen count currently is at 7. There's one more queen on the way, and here comes the triple spore. Making sure that she can die against these banshees. And I'm liking the safe play that Scarlett is going for. Saying 1-1, but of course it is 2-0 for Scarlett. My apologies there. Tricking some of you. You're like, hey wait, didn't Scarlett win that last game? She indeed did. My bad, my bad. 5 barracks going down here for Innovation. Who's... Ooh. Is this a semi all-in out of Innovation? Look how fast these extra barracks are. Look how low the worker count is. 46 only. I think a lot of workers were cut. Now here come the 2 banshees. Not gonna get... Oh no, Scarlett sees it. Scarlett sees it. Scarlett sees it, and she immediately starts moving back. Is there another transfuse in time? No. 1 queen is gonna go down. 2nd queen might also go down. No, transfuse in time. Overseer is being morphed. Can we get a pull on these workers? Yep, we get a quick pull on those workers. Good defense once again here coming out of Scarlett, who so far has dealt with every threat in the best possible way that I can imagine. The only problem I'm seeing here is that I don't think she's aware of how many units Innovation really has. Innovation has been cutting SCVs every now and then to get as many units out as possible. And he's gonna hit one hell of a 1-1 timing push. And he's probably gonna be using this general area to push forward. Maybe even go here towards the bottom side, fight that 4th base. We still have 2 banshees alive as well, looking for some creep tumor kills. We'll not be able to get those 2. And they're gonna rotate into the main base, but sadly for Innovation there's going to be 2 spores there, so will actually be incapable of doing anything whatsoever. These 2 queens are dealing a lot of damage onto those banshees. Is Innovation in time with the response? No, loses 1 banshee, but here comes the push out. 1-1 marines, 88 workers, Scarlett, that is so many workers. Where are your banelings? The answer is, I don't know.
Additional supply depots.
I don't know, and here comes the scan out of Innovation, sees that there's absolutely nothing here. Just starts moving forward. These banelings can get targeted down, not quite happening right now. Innovation a little bit too afraid of that. There's no baneling speed here. I think Scarlett overdroned a tiny bit. 88 workers on 4 bases as well. That is such a high worker count, almost oversaturating. Our army is looking very, very weak right now. No baneling speed being done. These tanks in powerful positions. We have more reinforcements streaming in. Once again, the pathing almost ruining Innovation there. Almost taking out a big chunk of his army without any real reason. 3 drones have gone down so far. We're gonna need a base on the bottom side, Scarlett. You know it. We're gonna need to give up this base most likely. The creep isn't looking to hold. 1-1 attacks are finished right now. And here comes the big surround. Links in the back. Banelings not streaming in at the correct time though. So all of the links already die before the banelings can even try to connect. And I think this is just it. There's a single baneling, 2 banelings remaining. Those get targeted down. And the rest of the reinforcements arrives here for Innovation as well. 85 workers, but not enough links. No banelings here with the army anymore. Queens won't be able to hold. GG gets called, and Innovation wins game number 3 after an atrocious start. Scarlett slightly over drones by about 10 and could not hold. Unfortunate for her, but we'll be heading into game number 4 to see if Innovation can take it to the rubber match. Here comes Innovation in the bottom right. This time opening up with a, seems to be a 2 racks, could potentially still be a 3 racks. I think if you can, I think you can even rally this SCV across the map with the other 2 for a 3 racks. Never entirely sure, but it's just going to be a 2 racks. 2 racks really making a return in this tournament. We saw a lot of Terrans go for these 2 racks again, Zerg, trying to get that early lead. Will Scarlett be able to scout this? That seems like a hard yes. This Overlord is gonna move towards where these first 2 barracks are proxied. And the question is, what is Scarlett's response going to be against the 2 racks opener? How good is her response? We've seen a very specific and maybe even slightly peculiar response out of the Shopify Rebellion Zergs. Skip gas, high worker pools, and continue building drones all the way throughout. Lambo especially liked that response. Rather than building links, Lambo only built 2 links and then kept pulling drones again and again and again. So he kept the drone count high and he was like, okay, It's okay for me if I lose a couple of workers. I don't care about it. There's a lot of damage, by the way, on these SCVs, which is a big deal. If this SCV could go down, it would be even bigger. Yep, one SCV goes down. This is a huge start here for Scarlett. She's gonna go try to fight that one Marine as well right now. I think she's gonna be capable of dealing at least a little bit of damage on that Marine before anything happens. And this is only a 4-worker pool, and it's doing this much already. I mean, one more SCV is being pulled at this point. Not the greatest micro here out of Scarlett's gonna lose 2 drones for free. Should have been a little bit more careful there. I don't think that necessarily was the play. We see 2 queens, 6 links, so not gonna be going for the drone response. No, instead is going to get a couple of links here. We'll see if the links are going to be enough, however. Queen halfway done at this point, 18 more seconds and it will pop as well. Bunker, however, also 18 seconds away from finishing, so that bunker needs to be at least temporarily cancelled, but preferably even an actual cancel here. I think at this point Scarlett can actually move back. I'm not sure if you still need to keep going. There is no spine for her, so I understand why she wants to take down these Marines, but she's taking a lot of losses here. 3 more drones going down, 4 more drones going down if Innovation decides to target. Yep, 4, 5. 5 more drones going down, and we have more Marines rallying forward. This bunker is a cancel. 15 workers on the side of Scarlett remaining, 17 on the side of Innovation. So you see 7 workers killed, and that is extremely painful here for the Canadian Zerg. She's not in a good position whatsoever. This was a big loss. These drone losses would have been okay had she not also built 10 or 12 links. But she did build 10, 12 links. Right now Marines are trying to run back home, defend their wall against these Zerglings, and I think these Zerglings are kind of going to capture themselves here, walking into a death trap. Scarlett realizes that, moves away, will be able to escape with the majority of her Zerglings, but actually all of them I think, unless she miscontrols at this point. It's not going to be the case. We're still gasless here for Scarlett, 22 workers against 20, third base has not gone down yet. No queen in the main base either, by the way, so there's just going to be 2 queens, 1 in the main, 1 in the natural, or sorry, 2 in, well actually 3 queens, all 3 were in the natural. Creep tumor to connect the natural and the main right now, and we have 5 more Marines moving out. This looks bad, but I actually understand it. Just because there was no spine, this basically means that anything can potentially be a threat, and Scarlett needs to be very careful of that. Needs to maybe even build a couple of links. Medevac's already on the way. I mean, we're not even thinking about starting speed. And this drop is about to hit. Barracks 1 and Barracks 2 are planning on landing down here. 2 Medevacs moving towards the 3rd base location of the Zerg. We'll be able to deny that base, at least for a little bit. Fusion core going down, alright. Now we're talking. Now we're talking fusion core going down. 35 against 25 workers. Good worker count here for Scarlett. I'll give her that. I'll give her the worker count. But I also give her a lack of speed. Lack of a 3rd base. Decent queen count, but I'm not quite sure if 5 queens out of position are going to provide defense that you need. Because out of position she most definitely is. Speed is not done yet. 8 more links on the way. 2 more queens are being produced as well. We see a good Evo chamber block coming out of Scarlett here. A couple of drones immediately are going to fall. 5 workers go down. 8 workers go down. Innovation evens up the worker count. There's still no speed on these links. There's more links popping out. And I think this should be a cleanup. Yep, this is going to be a cleanup. But there's going to be a battlecruiser behind this. There's more Marines or more Hellions coming out behind this as well. Innovation is not done yet with this game. He is not done. He has more in store for Scarlett. And Scarlett has no real counterattack possibility here. She still doesn't have speed. She has no spores ready for anything. Scarlett probably is expecting a faster triple CC play, but that is definitely not what is the case here. We are seeing the battlecruiser. We know what's going to happen here, and it wouldn't surprise me to see double gas go down soon. No, we're not going to see that. Instead, we're going to be seeing bio coming out of this. Okay, so single battlecruiser into bio. We'll see a 3rd barracks being added soon. But first we'll have one more attack. One more attack. Before Innovation goes into that 3rd barracks. What is that factory done? factory is done, barracks will be produced at the reactor. And we'll see a swap with the factory and the starport. Where do we go? Teleport straight into the main mineral line. It's going to be taking out 2-3 drones. We'll also attack a queen. Really didn't get much done. I'm just looking at this, I'm thinking, well, this is a unit that cost 400 minerals, 300 gas. The capital ship of the Terran. It blinked across the map and killed 2 workers. My average Oracle does more. This is the most expensive Oracle that I've seen in my life. And it's slow as well, holy crap. Of course, Innovation is looking for more damage, but with the queen count that we're currently at, I'm having a difficult time seeing that actually work. Infestation pit going down. What am I seeing here? Single Evo chamber, infestation pit straight into hive. Is this going to be quick lurker plays? Are we witnessing the quickest lurkers of all time? No! She cancelled the infestation pit, it was a misclick. So I think she still wants to play Link Bay. No. She has a roach warren. Scarlett is looking to go for roaches. Can she go for roaches? I don't know if she can. A little bit of a supply block here for Innovation. We'll move out of it. Yep. Glio reconstitution here for Scarlett. Huh. Look at that. Queen going ham here with the injects. 4 injects in a row, look at that. She had a lot of energy, but now she's tired. She's gonna rest for a bit again. She doesn't really need to do too much work, as she can kind of pre-queue the work. It's the dream. Pre-queuing work. If I just work a little bit harder today, is it okay if I don't come into work tomorrow? Very little bosses saying yes to that. Very little. I haven't tried it yet. But then again, I am my own boss. My boss isn't the most reasonable guy. There's a lot of queens here, huh? I don't know what Innovation's plan is. Can he just kind of attack into this? I don't think he can. It's a weird location as well for a 5th base, by the way. Very rare to see that. Burrow going down as well. I like Burrow, but I'm not sure how great it's going to be. Yeah, it's just a hard cancel. This is just a hard cancel. Pop. Big run by happening on the other side of the map. We have the battle cruiser going back in. I think this teleported. Oh, look at that. Is this extractor gonna go down? The extractor falling low. No transfuse. Huge error out of Scarlett. Oof, that is 25 minerals that she is never going to see back. That's not even including the drone. That is a 75 mineral loss here for Scarlett. Huge losses on the side of Scarlett after that battle cruiser came back in. Oh my god, it survives with 4 HP. Oh, it's a Phoenix and an Oracle in one, look at that. Almost taking out an Overlord as well, just like my Phoenixes do. Man, big kills here on that battle cruiser, taking out that extractor. That shall get her. Oh, it's back already. More workers being produced. Ooh, what? What are we seeing? Pathogen glands, the energy upgrade here for the infestor being researched, increases the starting energy of infestors by 25. Not quite sure if that's going to make them that much better. Ooh, what is this called? Tunneling claws? Yep. What's the time on that? 79 seconds for tunneling claws. So Scarlett is looking for some cheeky plays. Do we have any turrets in any of the bases? The answer is a hard. A resounding no. This is such an old school style, by the way. Infestor Ravager. This is something we saw in 2016, 2017, back when the fungal still held units in place. And you could bile your opponent's units after you would fungal them, which, thinking back of that, that was pretty freaking broken. That just was really, really broken. Innovation right now seeing the spikes on the roaches and says, hey, these roaches look a lot more fluorescent than they usually do. Are they perhaps capable of going underground, if you know what I'm saying? And you should start throwing down a couple of turrets. If you're not understanding what I'm saying, is that you can see the spikes on the roaches here. They usually don't have those, the 5 spikes. That means that the tunneling clause has been researched. So the moment you see this, you need to start throwing down turrets and being extremely aware of the possibility of tunneling clause. 5, 6 Marines are going to be taking out a Spore over here, take out a couple of Creep Tumors as well. Innovation completely on siege. He's going to catch a bunch of Fungal straight in his face. Not the greatest start of an engagement here. A lot of these Fungals have been cast already. One more big Fungal could... Oh my good lord. That's a huge Fungal. He's going to take out a lot of the Marines here. Ground Carapace level 2 finishes up as well midway through the fight. As these 5 Marines do a little more than Scarlett perhaps would have wished for. Tank is going to get picked up and survives for now. This is a very weird opener here out of Scarlett. These Infestor builds almost never work anymore. And right now, even though she has gotten some really good shots, it still feels like it isn't really working. Oh, Ravager Bowls hitting a Medevac that was just floating around. Imagine having the speed of a Medevac and being hit by a Ravager Bowl. That's kind of pathetic. But then again, it happens to the best. One Marine goes down after trying to engage into 2 Roaches and a Ravager. It's a fight they couldn't win, sadly, for them. Whoop. Another couple of Bowls hit it, trying to aim for those Medevacs. Single 8 Marine drop is moving out right now. Here comes a run-by. I mean, this run-by is being spotted light years ahead of time. More Ravagers moving forward, try to bile. Oh, actually... What? Why does Scarlett keep getting so much? This run-by is... This has been the worst controlled run-by, okay? This has been queued up 3 times already, and every single time these units get queued up over here and just straight up walk into a wall. Finally, Innovation is like, oh, let me just put a tank there. Like, he sees everything happen on the Minos, like, holy crap. He just saw these Roaches move back and forth, back and forth. Here comes an Overseer. It is slow. It is painfully slow, even. But we know what it's doing. As we saw a Nidus network go down earlier, we have an 8 Marine drop on the left side. It's pulling back big chunks of the army. Vipers are out on the map as well. Oh. Ravagers are aiming for this... What? When going for the sensor tower rather than for the tank, we'll be able to take it out eventually with the next wave of Biles, but probably could have been done a little bit faster. 6 drones have gone down on the side of Scarlett. Nidus goes down in the main base. And now we can see what is the response time here for Innovation. And the response time is non-existent. Good Fungal coming out of Scarlett. Nidus is about to finish up in the main base. Innovation. Okay, sees it on the mini-map and starts responding. What does he have back at home? Well, the answer is not a whole lot. A bunch of Marines. Tank just pops out as well. Still trying to push forward at the same time. Good high ground scan. Sees the Vipers. These Roaches are doing a lot of damage. And with the Tunneling Claw should be able to stay alive for a very long time. If Scarlett decides to control them. So far doesn't seem to be the case. 3.5k minerals in the bank for Scarlett. No, Scarlett, burrow a couple. You definitely do want to burrow in this type of chaotic scenario. Oh, that's a little bit of a mistake here. That is a little bit of a mistake. We have Adaptive Talons on the way here for Scarlett as well. Seismic Spines is done. 3-3 upgrades are about to be done as well. As we see Scarlett going for the second play. We'll put the Nidus next to this tank. I can feel it. I can smell it. I can eat it. Never mind. Overseer gives up. Moves back home. The army of Scarlett is not looking all too strong though. Not quite sure where the rest of our army is. I guess in the Nidus. Yep. Oh, we have what was that? 10, 12 Roaches in the Nidus. Middle of the map, Innovation decides to move out. Single tank, no, double tank. Will siege up here. Might be able to do some good damage against these Hydralisks. Hydralisks do have 3-3 upgrades, but without Vipers, without Lurkers, not the strongest unit in the world. Good concave here for Scarlett. And with these Fungals, might be able to even take down a couple of these Medevacs. And indeed, she will. Marines start taking out this extractor and right-click that hatchery straight away after. I'm not really feeling it here for our good friend Innovation though. Oh, gets another Fungal. Good job, Scarlett. 5k, 2k in the bank against a mere 400, 800. And for Terran, gas never is really a factor. So, ooh, 19 Lurkers on the way. I like that. I like that a lot even. Gonna be transitioning into a big Lurker count. It's getting Spine Crawlers as well. Wants to be lazy and not really want to defend with the rest of her army. I think she can just push forward, take out this base. We're gonna need to see a miracle of innovation wants to hold this base. This is so many lurkers. This is so many blinding clouds as well. Like, abduct, we could have abducted as well there. I wouldn't have minded abducts. Yep, I absolutely am not minding these abducts. Actually, I'm doing the opposite of minding these abducts. I'm enjoying these abducts. I'm your average abduct enjoyer. Up, there we go, one more. The blinding cloud I wasn't the biggest fan of, but these abducts, they're looking strong, they're looking power. Hey, there we go, one more, baby, come over here. We have a little party and you're invited, Mr. Tank. Let's see, can these lurkers attack the tank? No, still out of range. Not the hottest play. Here comes Scarlett. Infestors trying to move forward as well. Scarlett looking to be in a very good position right now to take this game and take this series. All of a sudden, a lot more units are streaming in. A bunch of lurkers are not borrowed. Fungals hitting in the end, but not quite hitting as hard as Scarlett would have. And it seems like the small miracle has occurred. And Scarlett gets pushed back. One more fungal hits. What is the larva count right now? 7 larvae remaining. 9 hydras on the way. Ooh. All of a sudden it's looking kind of scary here for Scarlett. Income isn't actually that great for her anymore. Her gas bank is practically empty. This gas just I was like, oh, the gas just ran empty. But then I realized, wait a second, the extractor just died. She sucked that one empty with the Vipers. One more abduct. Lurkers moving forward as well. Blinding Cloud on the left side used as a zoning tool. Lots of medevacs still alive. Every time I see these medevacs die, I'm like, oh, this looks bad. And then in reality, there's still 10, 11 medevacs on the map. Still a lot of medevacs are being built here. This army is taking out bases. We'll be able to take out 2 lurkers as well. Scarlett is trying to chase this army, but it doesn't work too well with pure Hydra. Lurkers need to join up as well. Preferably even a couple of roaches would be nice to be here right now. Just for that chasing ability. Let's see, do we get a parasitic bomb? The answer is no. We have a secondary push coming forward as well out of innovation. This lurker is gonna fall. 2 tanks in the back dishing out a lot of damage, and Scarlett simply can't spend her money. She doesn't have the gas, and she doesn't want to use minerals on pure links because she has no upgrades for the links. Does she even have +1 melee? No melee upgrades here for the links. So painful position here for Scarlett, who lost a lot in the last minute and a half, 2 minutes. We'll see if Innovation can push his advantage here. 62 workers for Scarlett against the 83 workers of Innovation, who right now is on 6 against 5 bases. Who has a powerful army consisting of a lot of Marauders, a bunch of tanks. Sure, the Marauders aren't going to be great against the pure Hydra, but Marauders are good against Lurkers. Tanks are good against both Hydras and Lurkers, and this is looking like a very powerful composition that Innovation is crafting here. Lots of creep still on the map. Well, lots of creep. Decent amounts of creep on the map. 1 Viper goes down for free. The beauty of not having any high value targets in your army is that abduct can't abduct any high value target. It always feels bad to abduct like a single medevac or a single Marauder. For whatever reason, just doesn't quite seem worth it. Only a single Viper remains. We have +1 melee upgrades as Scarlett is becoming aware of her conundrum of having too many minerals and not enough gas. Hydra's pushing forward. Lurker's not in range of this fight though. Could just move forward with relative ease. Of course, Adaptive Talents is there. Now we have a secondary army pushing out. Single Lurker will not be able to hold this. I think this will be the end of this base for Scarlett. And with this base, so will this base fall. And that means that Scarlett will be going back to 5 bases. And out of these 5 bases, really only 1.5 are mining so far. Yep, this base is gonna get taken out. Good job there here coming out of Innovation. This top base should get taken out as well. Yep, there comes the Stim. Here come the Marauders. Here come the Marines. 3-3 bio does deal with these buildings very well. And that is indeed what we're seeing here. Abduct, yoink. Straight into the Lurkers and Hydras. Same time Innovation pushing out on the left side of the map as well. And he's making Scarlett so crazy. She has no clue what's going on right now. Lurkers falling left, right and center. Multitask galore. Does manage to cancel this top right base. So keeping the calm and the just the collected play that we're used to from Scarlett. But I just don't think it's going to be enough. 172 supply against 130 in favor of the Terran. 40 workers up. Almost. About 35 actually. 36 workers up. And I think Scarlett is going for a desperation push. And if her desperation push doesn't just straight up kill Innovation, I don't see how Innovation could potentially lose this game. There's only 3 lurkers here. This base is going to fall at least. That's a start. Okay. Innovation says, well, if this is your entire army attacking me, what will you have at home? And the answer is nothing. Right now there's nothing at home, and Innovation wanted to move out and sees that there's a lurker counterattacking on the far right. Scarlett's gonna keep moving. More lurkers are joining in with this army, and Scarlett is on the warpath. She's looking for a fight, and she's not looking for a defensive fight. She needs to have something to force her opponent to engage into it, to engage into her army. She needs it. And this is exactly what she wants. So planetary. Now she's leveraging. She's saying, hey, Innovation, you need to defend this, or you're going to run out of mining. And she's doing a good job here, taking 2 bases down in very rapid succession. However, Innovation says, what you can do, and I can do it way better because I have 2 armies. It's going to go for 1 base. Lurker does not go down. Innovation snipes the base and walks away. Says, cool guys, don't look at explosions. Instead, they just walk away, and that's exactly what he did here. Might even be looking at a pickup. No, he's going to take out so many lurkers here. Marauders on the high ground. Marauders and Marines on the right side as well, taking out these 2 bases. And this is just going to be it. 99 supply against 183. No more income here for Scarlett. If this base falls, this will be the absolute end. And Innovation doesn't even care anymore. He's just moving in. He seems to want to go for these overlords, which at this point makes absolutely no sense because Scarlett is never going to max again in a million years in this game. This base is almost down. We see Scarlett trying to chase this army, but every time she moves out too far, she puts herself at the risk of being counterattacked. And that is very dangerous, of course. Orbital command floating towards, well, what should be the 7th base, but because this base was taken down, now I guess it's the 6th base once again. Tank shooting from a distance. Whoop, Viper pulls. Takes one of these tanks into the lurkers. The 12 o'clock does fall. Scarlett making her final stand right now, but her final stand won't be good enough. And Innovation wins game number 4. And we're going to be going into a rubber match. Both players tied 2-2. Yeah, yeet, game number 5. Final game between Innovation and Scarlett, unless it will turn into a draw, then we can have another game. Well, we can have 3 more games if the next few turn into a draw, but experience tells me and statistics tell me that it's very unlikely. So let's assume just that this is going to be the last game. Innovation top right, Scarlett bottom left. 2000 atmospheres. Innovation aiming here for the reverse sweep. It really felt like Scarlett, every single game that she's lost so far, she's had a great chance at just destroying Innovation as well. I mean, the Lightshade game goes up to 88 worker against, what, 60 workers? Then barely dies against the tank Marine move out. Painful. Last game, I think that fight on that top right base is just so bad. From there on out, it all falls apart. But before that, she has a massive lead. Just huge bank. Huge bank, one of the biggest of banks. And yeah, just not quite capable of finishing that game. And the first 2 games, honestly, were kind of one-sided. Like, Scarlett just kind of owned Innovation in these first 2 games. It wasn't that close. Scarlett was in complete control from start to finish. Creep spread looking strong. Unit control looking good. Everything she did just looked fine. It looked solid. Let's see if she can get back into the mindset of those first 2 games, or if Innovation is going to prove to be a little bit too strong here. Factory is getting queued up. We see a single gas. The experienced StarCrafter, like myself, knows that this is going to be a triple CC. The less experienced StarCrafter has no clue what triple CC means. So you get 3 command centers before before a second gas. It's very funny how, well, funny, interesting. I haven't laughed at this yet, but perhaps in the future. A couple of beers, I'll laugh a little easier. If you think about how the definitions of certain things are in matchup. So if you talk about triple CC in TVP, you're talking a third CC before barracks number 2 and 3. That is considered triple CC. The thing is, in TVZ, you almost always play third CC before barracks 2 and 3. And most of the time, what we call 2-base Hellion Banshee is just a second gas before the third command center. That would be considered 2-base Hellion Banshee. And you can also play 3-base Hellion Banshee, which also is with a fast third CC. Both of them still have a very fast third CC before the extra barracks, but it's more about the gas timing. While in TVP, it's really about whether you build a command center before the barracks or not. Of course, in TVZ, you also can play barracks before command center, and then you just call that 3 racks, even if you open up with a factory. While in TVP, when we're talking about a 3 racks opener, we're talking about all barracks being built before a factory. So you just have a bunch of different definitions, or well, the same definitions, but they mean different things depending on the context in which they're used. And I thought that was a little bit interesting. I hope you guys learned something here. Are there any questions left? This was my PowerPoint presentation. I once had a PowerPoint presentation, thinking back, about, this was in second grade of high school, or third grade in high school. And we had a German girl in our class. And she made a presentation about why Germany was better than the Netherlands. And this was a classic 14-year-old person's presentation. It's like, the food in Germany is better, and like all this type of weird things that aren't even really measurable by anything. Extremely objective. And then I decided I'll do my presentation about why the Netherlands is better than Germany. And well, I went a little more the historical route, and that led me to get kicked out of class when I was 14, which I understand as well. It's probably not the greatest way to compare countries. But then, and also, I got kicked out twice during that presentation. So I used to be a huge fan of PowerPoint presentations because of the effects that they had naturally. So I had the effects, like you could make a thing spin and then it could make sound. And I loved that. So initially I got kicked out because I was going the historical route. Then I had to skip 2 slides, both the wars. And then I was allowed back in to finish my presentation. And then the next slide was, I can't quite remember what it was, but I think it was a picture of a bratwurst just spinning around 8 times and having like some type of noise, like a firework noise playing behind it. Then I got kicked out a second time. I think I'm one of the only people in the entire high school that got kicked out twice in the same class, which also was semi-impressive. I can't remember how I got here. PowerPoint presentations, yeah. So yeah, that was my PowerPoint presentation about the 3 racks. I hope you enjoyed it. And if there's any questions remaining, feel free to ask me in the comments. This is way too much damage, by the way. Scarlett, the first time she decides to skip spores, immediately has to pay the price here. These 2 banshees, killing what, 12, 13 workers? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, oh my god. I'm so good at counting. 18 workers, yeah, this is awful. Awful start here for Scarlett. Rebuilds 13 workers immediately, though. She hadn't taken a lot of damage before this. 13 extra workers. That's gonna bring her back up to 77. Oh my god, these benches are just not stopping, are they? I always like to imagine what the worker count would have been had this not happened. And that is 94. Right now, Scarlett is on 94 workers. 94 against 69. That is a massive difference. 94 workers at 7 minutes in game, by the way. Look at the creep spread as well. The mechanics out of Scarlett are insane, but I think she's being too greedy here. I'm not sure if she could have gone back up to 76 after losing 22. And she kind of has to, though. She kind of needs these drones, but she isn't building any Banes. Once again, her Banes are simply too slow. She has no control of this top watchtower. This is looking like a Lightshade repeat here. Except this time she lost a lot more workers. She's gonna go straight into 8 gas. She will lose this 5th base, which is nice. It will delay the move out of Innovation a little bit. Innovation is going to be taking out a lot of the creep. Here comes Scarlett, but there's no banelings here. Tries to retake that base. Should probably be going towards that bottom right side base. 1k minerals in the bank as well. $18 more banes. What is these banelings doing? No, you can't just run by right now. You're dying. Scarlett, no. Innovation just moves in and... Well, these banelings do end up falling. Now the banelings roll in, but... I mean, this is a little bit too late. There's nothing really left to tank at this point. Banelings are trying to connect with these Marines. Banshee in the back still dealing a lot of damage as well. Queen gets blown all over my screen right here. I think Scarlett just accidentally died. Playing a little bit too greedy. There are too many drones, or maybe a fine amount of drones, but then moving across the map with these banelings. GG gets called, and Innovation completes the reverse sweep here on 2000 atmospheres. If you did enjoy this video game, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We have lots of video games coming up. I got some big replay packs, and I'll be putting my regular analysis casting on these every single day of the week for the next few weeks probably. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. I hope you all had a great time watching, and I'll see you all next time for more stuff. Bye bye.